Hello guys, welcome to another review video I'm doing for the X52 today. I'll be honest, I don't use this joystick anymore. As you saw in the other review video, I use the VBK one instead. But this was my joystick, and I still use the throttle as we know up until today. So I really had fun with this thing. Actually, to be honest, it has plenty of controls. Let's just jump into it and I'll show you the joystick right now. Really jumping straight into it, this is the actual joystick itself, and this is actually my throttle that I use, the X52 Logitech, if I do believe so. Yeah, it has a small little logo. I know it had another company that did these, or I don't know how that works, but when I googled it the first time, it forwarded me to another website, and then eventually it forwarded me to the Google one for the drivers and everything like that. So very quick review. There's mode switches here. I'll start by that because that's the most complicated out of the in quotations complicated, but basically you got 3 mode switches here that every one of them reprofiles the joystick. So I do believe, I haven't used this too much to be 100% honest, I actually made it into a button. So this is like button 1, button 2, button 3, and it was always on that mode. So for any game that you think that'll be useful, that's fantastic. But on the default settings, it's on mode 1, mode 2, and mode 3, and basically each and one of these keys can be reconfigured to any other asset or any other switch or any other button configuration on the fly. You got a pinky switch here in the back that actually sometimes, well, you need to, I'll show it later in the program, but you need to configure it. It doesn't work by default. There's a trigger of 1 D10 trigger. It's not a 2 D10 trigger. You got on and off, on and off, on and off, down and up, sorry. Nice little armrest that you can actually unwind here with this knob and then increase it in height. You see there's 4 steps here that are very nice if you have a smaller hand or a bigger hand, if you like to rest more on it or less. Safety switch for the fun of it. Any of Brahms, this is a hat switch, sorry. 4 directional. I don't think it's an 8 directional if I'm not mistaken. I don't feel like it has an 8 directional one. I think it's 4, especially as well as this. It's not pressable as well. So basically 4, 4, 3, mode switch, and 6. So and of course the triggers. So 2 more. Throttle itself has diversity in keys in a way. It has a slider here at the top, button, another slider here for zoom. Usually I use that. This is usually for my flaps, but yeah, another slider, button, hat, 4 directional hat, not pressable. There's another in the back here that you barely see, and I actually use it quite often for night vision on like DCS adventures, but it's pressable as well. So it's a normal little mouse wheel by default. And this is, by default, a knob for the mouse. So if I'll show you around my mouse here, you'll see the mouse actually works and moves. And also the button underneath it, which is down here, is a click, left mouse click, which is, again, also configurable. By the way, this is the program that I use in the same time with it, which is Joystick Curves. If you want, guys, I'll do a tutorial about that as well. There's a lot of YouTube videos about it already. People explain it very thoroughly, and it's very easy to set up. And this is the actual program. I'll show it later in the computer view, not in the phone recording. 3 buttons here at the bottom, the throttle itself, and that's about it. There's a small little like resting pad here just in case if it bumps into something, which I actually had to use because it was a little bit closer to my table. But as you can see, it's weirdly attached to my table. Same thing with my joystick. It's attached using a TV screen holder at the bottom and a SSD holder as a tray. So random, effective, but random. Anyway, let's move into the program. It's a very simple joystick, as you can guys see. The only thing that I didn't like about the joystick itself, to start off with that, is that after a while this became squeaky. It made a little bit of noise. You can even hear it now. Especially the small, there you go. Small axis on the top, on the bottom is a little bit more, you know, it needs to be like, if I apply the same pressure on my VBK, for example, it's smooth all around. But if I do the same thing here, it's smooth, and then it stops, and then it's smooth, and then it stops. But this is after a year or 2 years of using this. So it could be just because I overused it or didn't take care of it. I did put oil. I know Vaseline, which is funny, but Vaseline sorts the noise and also can sort out the inconsistency in the twist. It also, by the way, has a rudder control, which is fantastic. It's an all-around package that comes complete, and it's very comfortable, very usable, It's a very beginning level of a H.O.T.A.S configuration if you just want to jump into something, and it's not that pricey as a more advanced one in quotations. Not that this cannot do anything that the advanced one, just the only difference mainly between an advanced H.O.T.A.S and this is maybe the sensitivity and the accuracy of some of these sliders. Now, that's the issue mainly that I have of this. Actually, I would be still using it if I didn't get this one. To be honest, if I could connect both of them and have like a two joystick setup, that'll be quite funny and fun to have, but we'll see about that in the future. Anyway, the problems that I had after using the Throttle for more than a year, I noticed that the sliders, all of them, and I'll show it to you again in the computer view, are jittery. So this is why I use the Joystick Curves program. I use, there's here you can see it, it's very simple explanation, noise filter 1 instead of 0 on all of them, from rotary to slider to slider to another rotary. I also tried to put the throttle up. I didn't manage to do that. If anybody knows down in the comments, I just need to Google it up and look why the throttle actually doesn't work, because the throttle actually does stutter as well, at least in DCS. So unfortunately, well, I need to sort it out. There's a small little screen here, by the way, which is like a small one. I never actually used this, but it has time, your profile that selected the mode, as well as I told you if this was still connected, I could switch mode 1, mode 2, and mode 3 here using, as I said, this knob here in the top right mode. It shows you that. It shows you the profile that you use. If you have your own profile, I should load my own profile now, and you'll see in the programs, I go and load a profile, and then you need to cage it in. You need to lock it in there. And then if you go back to the HUD here, you'll see nub3, which is my little name for profiles. So you got a timer here. You can actually run a stopwatch and everything like that. But like I said, these are actually buttons, so they don't affect it. Oh, well, maybe they do. There you go. Stopwatch. Stop. Stopwatch. Go. Reset. And it works. So who knew? I didn't know it works, although I reset the button. So yeah, function changes the time. It's not, well, it's 2 hours in back, so it's probably on UK time. And a timer, so a time and a timer. And it's cool. But of course, I use these buttons a lot. This is my nose wheel stutter or any other helicopter or anything like that. I use these a lot. So they don't actually function for me as a timer. Overall, the throttle is there's a knob here that allows you to control how much strength you need to put into the throttle piece. So it's, I don't know if I can, like, I'm putting half strength into this. It's gonna be harder now. Yes, so I can't do it with the finger. This is the same strength I'm doing right now. I need to really pull it now with the, but I like really advanced and fast movement. So I guess I have it on the most sensitive. And yeah, I have it on the most sensitive because I always throttle up, throttle down a lot. So I like it on the most sensitive so you can play around with fast adjustments. If I need to afterburner suddenly, I need to close the gap, I need to slow down or anything like that. And of course, everything is actually simulated here as well in the program. So you can see right now, this is moving. The button here will click and also will show here on the right. The brakes here will show all of the buttons, mouse, POV, hat switch 1, 2, 3, 4. Sliders as well. Rotary 1, rotary 2. Everything shows in the program. I'll be honest with you, there's nothing more to this program than setting it up and going into the scenes, but I'll show you that in the computer view in a moment. So that's about it on the overall. The aesthetics of this joystick is very cool looking. You know, it's very modern and very futuristic, unlike realistic military equipment, for example, like the VBK tries to be. And I really did like it. I really did use it a lot without any hitch until I started going into DCS and more accurate stuff that require accuracy, and I started noticing some hiccups with it. So let's jump to the computer review, and I'll show you guys the program, and that's about it.
Hello, I'm back into the PC view after showing you the actual joystick itself. Like I said, unfortunately I don't use the joystick anymore of the X52. I use the VBK, so I won't be able to show that part for now. I don't have it hooked up, and actually I'm a lot of USBs in the back of my computer case, so I'm very sad about that. I didn't even use the front one, and I'm fully full. So this is the main page of that Logitech program. I'll of course link in the description of their main page, but basically, you know, simply Logitech X52, flight simulator, throttle and stick. Then you got to support here, It opens you a new page. You need to make sure that you're selecting the right operational system. So when it'll open here, you have at the middle downloads. Very, very straightforward. You got show all downloads or the one that you already have here. But you can just check the last updated date. I'm pretty sure that's the newest one. It also has Windows 10, 2018 09 24. So even if you go into these, you select an OS, Windows 10, and you see this is 2017, not even close. So we're looking for 2018 09. Very simple. Scroll down, scroll down. Pretty sure the one on top is anyway the latest. Make sure the only thing that you need to notice is that some of these are for Windows 64-bit or 32, X64 or X32-bit computer. So just check that out. Maybe download them both and just see exactly if it launches or not. I recommend just going in for the default one here, Auto Detect OS at the top. Very simple. When it comes to the program itself, after you download it and install it, it'll look like so. There it is. I have it open. This is the main page, social, Logitech, support, everything like that, which is fantastic, and programming. There's two views for this. We'll start in this one first. You can highlight and see all the buttons, all the controls, actually click on everything, and once you do, you can go into the arrow here on the right. You can assign it to an 8-way switch of the hat as well. Hat number 2, yes. Hat number 3, yes. Hat number on the back here, actually I can't get this to. There you go. Also hat number 3 as well. I can do an 8-way switch too, which is fantastic, which I think I won't use it for now because anyway I don't need so many options there. So all the frees are 8-way switch, so that's fantastic. You can make a new profile. You can open, which I did before, and you can select your profile. After, remembering this is very important, after you load, and that happened to me, I never knew why it didn't work, but after you open a profile, you have to apply it with the profile switch. Loaded profile, nub 3. If I go into open and do nub 2, I think it doesn't actually take effect until you press this button, to be honest, because I had a little bit of issues with that. I was playing with key bindings and everything like that, and I noticed it actually never applied it per se to my joystick. So you need to press on this button here. Now, by default, on the if you see it highlighted right now, the clutch button is a weird button. It activates a secondary mode on the joystick, which some LEDs blink on and off. And it basically shows you like it's a modifier key. I've never got into the hang of it. Basically, I have it sorted out as a normal key because I anyway need that key. Because it didn't assign, you click the button in the game, it moves it into a clutch mode. So actually going another window here, you can go and your press on Windows key and basically search here. Just start typing controller. And you have set up USB game controllers. You're going to see this is the V-Joy device, which is what I use for the Joy curves. If anybody, again, like I said, I will do a tutorial about this if anybody wants to sort stuttering issues or just basically smooth out. There's a graph here that you can smooth out accesses, which I need to sort out my throttle, which actually does register here but doesn't register in game. So if anybody knows about that, I'll just Google it and look it up myself as well. But yeah, slider 1, slider 2, and my slider 3. Basically, slider, rotary, and rotary. So that's that. But X52 H.O.T.A.S, if you double click on this, you can actually see live action on all of the sliders. This is, of course, the normal Microsoft one that comes with Windows. No need to download anything to see this page. Just need to press on start and controller and you're good. But you can set up here dead zones, which is nice. But basically, if I'll show you the stuttering issue, but as a quick demonstration, if I turn off noise filter on my slider to 0, and no need to save it, you will notice here really small little jittery lines whenever I move it around, and there you go. You see that? It's a software issue. It could be also a software issue, to be honest, but I heard it is a physical problem with the joystick itself. So if your device actually has this, let me know in the comments section below, and I will do joystick curves review as well, how to set it up and everything like that. I do believe all the sliders do that, so I just have that on noise reduction 1 and it will stop as soon as I move it. You can also increase it second to noise level 2 and that will make it jump between sections, which fantastically well in the game, at least in DCS. Again, everything that I have is in digital combat simulator, so I don't know War Thunder anymore or anything like that. Actually, in War Thunder, I don't think you even need joystick curves because it filters out it automatically from what I saw, because the zoom option there was very smooth. So just to your own discretion, just make sure you check it out and see that it's not stuttering, and I hope it will not. You got the LEDs brightness, which is very nice. There's a few LEDs on the controller that light up, the blue ones that you saw in the video itself before, they light up, all the blue ones. It's this one, and this one. From what I can see, when I turn the slider up, yeah, all three of those light up, which is nice. Especially in the dark, it's very beautiful. And the MFD, which is the actual screen, which is this. So that is the brightness of that as well. It goes blue as well, from what I can see. And it really lights up as well. I keep it on low. I heard that actually causes stuttering, so I just keep that on low. But to be honest, it didn't help the stuttering, so I'm going to bring that up. I like LEDs. Moving on. Time adjustment. You can adjust the timer on the fly in the actual controller itself, which is nice. There's a 12-hour mode if you're not like me and you're not from the Eastern or Western. I don't know which actually people use this or not. Then 12 hours excluding like 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. So if you don't want that, you can take it off and you have a 24-hour time cycle on the screen here. Although I don't use it. GMT time, I don't use that screen anyway, to be 100% honest. As you can see, there's enable clutch button mode here, clutch mode, which like I said is like a modifier. I never knew how this works, to be honest. Never did want to use it because it literally disables this button here, which is the clutch button. So I keep that off. Latch clutch button basically can, I think, like slaves it to something in an individual, so it comes up when you enable clutch mode. Date format, date, day, month, year, or month, day, year, or year, month, date. Easy peasy. Dead zones, which is fantastic if you want to set it up on the fly. Anyway, most of the games today have it too. So as I told you, mouse wheel and everything like that. Now it's not a mouse wheel. Now even my knob, this thing is not moving my mouse anymore, if you could see, because I set my own profile, nub free. So that's basically it. If you ever want to check out if your thing is actually connected properly and everything's working fine, you can always open this and, like I said, search controller, bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Basically, this is the first view, as I said, of the program. There's a save profile, which is fantastic. There's a different view, which we'll go to that in a second. There's a test profile, which is... moving on, you can print. Print actually makes a PDF file of your controller, which I already have one. Shows you all the controls and all the keys and what you've assigned it to and everything like that. But that's only speaking in the language of this program. So if you go into another, like a game or something, and you try to look up that PDF, it's going to show you probably some different other controls. So that's kind of embarrassing. So you can't really actually refer to that unless you add it in the PDF actually what the buttons are. It'll be more useful. Here in this still page, you can not only the axes, you can fall back. Bands are basically making a certain axis into a key press. So basically if I throttle up right now, it will register as it a Y key or whatever key you set it up to. Directional axis, any key here is actually quite configurable. As you can see, left mouse scroll up. These are the default commands that you can put on any key, or you can actually program it to a new key press that you'd like, which basically assigns it to any keyboard button that you set it up to. So it's fantastic. It's actually very, very configurable to a very nice degree. So if you guys want a thorough explanation, I'm pretty sure there's online videos about it, but like I said, I'm not into keen, but I'm just showing the basic operation that I know and love about this. Throttle, everything here, like I said, the rudder, mouse wheel, of course I set that as unprogrammed. Like I said, I don't use the mouse wheel per se, I use it as a normal key binding. Moving to the other view, which is a little bit more advanced. If you press on views, you can just switch to grid view or just click it and it'll change over. There used to be a mode 1, mode 2, and mode 3 here, and also with a pinky switch settings. Change it up a bit. As you can see, you'll have 3 modes here with a pinky switch modifier. The good thing that I know is that the bands thing, if you really do want to like assign an axis or a slider or even the throttle itself into a button, you can press on bands, and this will basically let you choose which key it wants to work on and also how much you want off of this here. I have already something set up for the view, for example, for the slider. As you can see, if I go above 60 to 100 degrees in the slider, which you can see here on the offset and joy curves, it goes to numpad plus. I don't know, I used to spam my keys with plus and minus numpad, so I don't know. Anyway, I have it on programmed. You can name it, you can change the fallback stage, and add shift commands, new macros, new advanced commands that basically can connect one macro to the other as far as I can see. And I'll be honest with you, my knowledge again on this is not that expertise level. I use it for the basic minimum. I'd be happy to learn about this more, but currently I don't see any reason to for myself. So that's about it, guys. Let me know if you have any other questions in the comment section below. I appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next adventure. Bye bye.